All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Luis Cruz, Community and Public Relations Director at the San Diego Union-Tribune. I am joined by my colleagues, Paul Ingeinieri, Vice President of Advertising at the San Diego Union-Tribune and Los Angeles Times, Howard Kurtz, Advertising Partnership Manager at the San Diego Union-Tribune and LA Times, Katie Musoff, Digital Sales Director at Stats Digital, and Fiona Leong, Director of Events and Strategic Sponsorships, and Bosmer Rajpar, Advertising Research Director in Client Solutions. So we are excited to be here with you today. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to learn about the San Diego Union-Tribune and Stats Digital's expanded advertising solutions. This morning, my dedicated and hardworking colleagues will share details about our ever-evolving audience, our massive reach with the LA Times, and how our dynamic multimedia products, award-winning journalism, and community impact have led our business to a new era of growth and opportunity. Our goal today is to show you how to drive powerful results tailored to your clients' needs and budgets using our array of multi-platform advertising solutions. So let's get started. I'd like to welcome our VP of Advertising at the San Diego Union-Tribune and Los Angeles Times, Paul Ingeinieri. Paul?
Luis, thank you very much, and welcome everyone. Good morning. It's a beautiful day out, and we're going to jump right in. Let me tell you, if you don't mind, what the California Times is. That is the single ownership of the Los Angeles Times and the San Diego Union-Tribune. We are the largest, most powerful media company in Southern California. And so we're going to do some updates, not just for San Diego, but also for the Los Angeles Times as well, to give you a sense of our uniqueness and the breadth and depth of our coverage over all of our platforms. And of course, Stats Digital, which is the official agency of record for the California Times, official digital agency. Okay, let's dig in. Next slide, please. So just to give you a sense, and we're very proud of this, we're the largest publisher west of New York and Washington, D.C. And so that comes as a surprise to a lot of folks. And we'll get a little deeper into the numbers. Really, what we wanted to set was kind of the landscape up front here for you to give you a sense of, again, that reach. And I think this really explains it best. If you look at the fact we've got combined 44 million unique website visitors, 11 million folks access through Apple News our content, 9 million social followers, and in excess of 200,000 individuals who attend our events, and Fiona is going to review that event information. So you can see we are definitely a force to be reckoned with, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into the numbers. Next slide, please. And this is, just wanted to include this slide. This shows specifically the print reach and our area of dominant influence. I love to tell people that from Santa Barbara to the Mexican border, we are the most powerful media combined in the LA Times, the San Diego Union-Tribune, that's California Times. So you can see that's a pretty wide swath of land that we cover, and that's just the definition of our print outreach. One of our platforms, and we'll talk about all of our platforms today to give you a greater sense of our reach in the markets and beyond, by the way. So next slide, please. So this is an interesting slide, and I really wanted to get this out front for you so that you could get a sense of what's changing in our business. I share with our staff all the time. They probably get tired of me hearing this when I'm out and about and I reach new people or meet new people in Southern California or beyond. People say, "Hey, Paul, what do you do for a living?" Well, I work for the California Times, the Los Angeles Times, and the San Diego Union-Tribune. "Oh, you're in the newspaper business. How's that going?" And my response is, "It's going great, thank you." And I think they're a little surprised on that, because no doubt our traditional ink on paper outreach and circulation, it is trending down. That comes as no surprise. You can imagine the cost to print and distribute ink on paper product today is very costly. So ours is a planned evolution to move from that platform of ink on paper, as I call it, to a digital platform. So what these numbers show you is over the last 5 years, and I'm going to be really pleased, we won't have the 2023 numbers yet, but when those 2023 numbers get there, we'll share those in the next coming 6 months. We're going to see an even greater impact on our movement of our audience from ink on paper to digital replica. So let me tell you what these numbers represent. 2018, you can see the Los Angeles Times on the far right column reached 639,000 subscribers to our product. Mostly that was ink on paper, less so digital replica. Now, fast forward, move to the left, and you'll see in 2022, our total subscribers, 486,000. So are we down? Yes, we are. But if you look at that trajectory, by the time we end 2023, we will most likely eclipse that 2018 number. You can see the San Diego Union-Tribune similarly, 182 to 151. And then combined, 821,000 combined reach for ink on paper and digital replica. The digital replica, by the way, is our electronic version of our newspaper. And I'm sure that many of you subscribe or you're familiar with it. If you're not, that's what our follow-up will be for, by the way. We're happy to review that with you. Uniquely so, if you look at the daily product, you can see if you shoot down to the bottom that we have already surpassed our 2018 number, and we're up 2% within that 5-year period. So when people say, hey, Paul, how's that going? It's going great, thank you. Very positive trajectory. Let's move on to the next slide, because I want to dig a little bit deeper into the actual audiences, and I'll move quickly here, but just to give you a sense, because frequently we're asked, who do you reach? And what are those numbers? So in the LA DMA for the Los Angeles Times, for both print and digital audience, our integrated reach on a weekly basis is over 4 million unique individuals. This is according to Scarborough. 4.4, that's print and digital reach. Our eNewspaper reach, which is the digital replica of the print product, 150,000 unique individuals in a week, more so in a month, by the way. Weekday readership and circulation of the LA Times, you can see still a large number, 1.2 million folks up in LA. Sunday readership, 1.6 million, and circulation of 484. LAtimes.com. This is just so impressive. Unique visitors on a monthly basis, 39 million. And as we showed that earlier slide between LA and San Diego, we are the largest publisher west of New York and Washington. Here's our breakdown. People are always asking about this. Very similar to the way it's always been, a little heavier on the male than female, but still great readership between both male and female. Age, here's what's happened. So excited about this. We've seen the entry of younger people because of our digital platforms, utilizing our product in a much more robust way. So you can see the breakout by age. Very proud of that. We're moving. This evolution in digital is really expanding our readership. Race and ethnicity across all demographic profiles, and then household from a home ownership standpoint. Again, great demos. People who use our product tend to make more money. They tend to be better educated. They tend to own their own homes, and they tend to have more disposable income. That's what you see here. That's not changing. It's expanding. We're proud of that. Let's take a look at San Diego. San Diego, similarly so. And we'll be sharing this information with you so that you can further have access to this. But you see in the San Diego DMA, print and digital, our reach on a weekly basis, 723,000 adults. Huge reach still. Always has been, always will be, by the way, because people like our product. eNewspaper reach, 72,000 uniques each week. Our weekday circulation and readership, Sunday circulation and readership, still very robust. Here, once again, San Diego Union-Tribune, one of the largest locally trafficked news and information website, 3.8 million unique visitors. Similar on male and female demos. Age, once again, San Diego or LA, reaching from 18 to 34 all the way through that 55 plus. Each of these age groups, very coveted age groups for advertisers for your clients. Race and ethnicity shown, and then once again, best demos for household income, ownership, and attending of college. So that's a little bit of a look under the covers, looking at the numbers, and we're proud to share that data with you. Next slide, please. I now get the pleasure of turning this over to Howie Kurtz. Howie is our manager of partnerships and works on a lot of new product development. And Howie is central to a lot of new products that we're rolling out through partnerships that we want folks to know about, because there's some opportunity for sponsorships. And it talks about our expansiveness across multiple platforms, some ours and some other people's. All right, Howie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Hello, everybody. Happy first day of summer. It's nice to see the sun out again in sunny San Diego, so we have it back. Yeah, we're going to talk about some of our partnerships and exclusive projects we're working on that have opportunities for your clients. So up first, Ms. Bosma. Yeah, so we have partnered with the San Diego Association of Realtors for our real estate platform. And really, this has been a phenomenal partnership, and it's a great opportunity for any of your clients that are looking to reach not only the real estate community, but also the real estate agent community. We have a full, complete MLS feed, 100% of the inventory, advanced technology and mapping platforms, and there's unique sponsorship opportunities that are proprietary to us, meaning there's no programmatic placements to sneak in into the platform. So the only way to get advertisements in our real estate section is direct only. And so just some great opportunities if you want to reach the real estate community through the San Diego Union-Tribune, the San Diego Association of Realtors, and the San Diego MLS. Next slide. Similarly, we've also partnered with the San Diego County New Car Dealers Association, that we launched San Diego Drives. This is also very exciting. This is a platform where the community can actually post their car on San Diego Drives, and we have 89 dealers registered and bidding on these cars in an auction. And then the consumer, the community, will get the best offer in 24 hours, and then they have another 48 hours to decide if they would like to go through with the transaction. In addition, we have 89 dealers inventory also live on our site. And similarly, no programmatic or remnant. The only way to get advertising on the San Diego Drives platform is through a direct placement. So if you have those automotive clients or somebody looking to target the auto industry, auto segment, auto intenders, San Diego Drives is a phenomenal platform in partnership with the New Car Dealers Association of San Diego. Next slide, Bosma. Hey, this is really exciting. Paul spoke to our integrated readership and the .com and print, and one of the things that's been growing exponentially over the last 5 years is the digital replica, or what we affectionately call as the eNewspaper. We're just seeing continued growth year after year. And, one of the things that resonates to me is that second bullet. We have 26 million page views each month just in San Diego on the eNewspaper. And this is different than the .com. These are people who still like and are familiar with the newspaper experience, reading left to right. It's organized, sports, business, in the organized fashion that people like. And what we're seeing is 19 minutes of engagement per session, which a normal .com user could be a couple minutes. So people are really engaging, no different than the newspaper, and spending 19 plus minutes per session. Next slide, share the LA numbers. Similarly, LA is having the same phenomenon, 457,000 unique monthly users to the e-newspaper in LA and 46 million page views. And again, this is just for the e-newspaper, separate from the .com. 16 plus minutes of engagement on the e-newspaper here, and they're consuming about 27 pages per session. And then, I'm similarly, as I talked about our partnerships, we don't allow programmatic or remnant in the e-newspaper. So there's only one way to get in, and that's through a direct buy. And if we go to the next few pages, I'll just quickly share what some of those experiences look like. Moving left to right, on the far left is what we affectionately call page zero, and it's called page zero because it's in front of the first page. So you can see the Kohl's ad there. It's the same specs as a traditional broadsheet in print, but for digital 960 by 2064, we can have third-party ad tags there, insert video, but it's a phenomenal placement. The middle slide there, if you will, is we just started the process of allowing full page ads and actually bypassing the print product, but appearing in the e-newspaper to reach this engaged digital audience who wants to be part of our e-newspaper. And there's some economies of scale there because you're bypassing the print and the costs associated with that. And then on the far right, we have our in-article ad units. As people click through, and as I mentioned, 26 million page views article to article, we have the in-article ad units, which is the traditional 300 by 600, 300 by 250, and actually 320 by 50 in mobile as well. And all of these except third-party ad tags that we serve through Google Ad Manager. It's all trackable pixels, all the above. Next slide, Osman. Yeah, so this is also exciting to me. This is, a lot of people like to request their newspaper delivery via email. And so we have a daily email sponsorship. I kind of look at this as almost like a digital topper, so to speak. In San Diego, we have 77,000 people per day who say, yes, I want to receive the newspaper via email in this format. So it arrives in email like this, and then you click through to the e-newspaper, but it allows you to have this sponsorship button at 970 by 250 above the Read Today's paper entry point. So as you can see there, we have Big Five on the right on the LA Times sample and our hot property real estate section on the left. So these are sponsorable ad units, only one advertiser per day, and to reach a huge audience. San Diego, again, was 539,000 net emails per week, and LA is 2.2 million emails per week. It's a great product. Next slide. Digital inserts, this I see as the future. No different, you're familiar with the digital circulars, Targets, Dixie Line. The sample we have here is Big Five. Retailers, consumers, your clients can have a digital circular right on our e-newspaper adjacent to the sports section, the business section, the main news. And we have packages that not only get our organic audience that we just shared, but then we also boost it on social and through the same email newsletters. So we collectively point all of our assets to the digital inserts on both the San Diego Union-Tribune e-newspaper and the LA Times. Phenomenal product. We only see exponential growth in this product. Super exciting. Next page, please. Awesome. So SD Custom Podcast, what is that? We have a full service, beginning to end podcast division. And in summary, we can help you and your clients build out a podcast with really no labor on their end. And it's full service from ideation to production to studio to marketing Beginning to end, we have you covered. And I'll quickly take you through a couple slides here just to illustrate. So here's a couple podcasts and set configurations that we actually have live on the site right now. One, we have the SDG&E who's doing the connection and using our platform. We have an estate planner, Preston Estate Planning, and we also have one of the top real estate experts in San Diego, the Jim Patrol Real Estate Show, or the Jim Patrol Experience. Again, that's just showing some set configurations. If you go to the next slide, I'll show you some residency. So what's unique about our podcast platform is we're exposing you to all of our readers in a new format. So on the left, on the homepage of our .com, you'll see podcast circled at the top. That's in our trending bar. So it's a quick access point to all of our podcasts. And then in the middle of the page on our homepage, we have a content well focusing on all of our podcasts. And then on the right, we have a dedicated podcast and live stream page where each of the podcasts of our consumers will be posted, hosted, and promoted. And if you go to the next slide, I'll kind of show you the built-in marketing assets behind a podcast with us. So we basically have $48,000 a month that we're using all of our assets to promote our podcasts. And I'll kind of just work around the wheel clockwise. Starting at the top, I mentioned production and studio and ideation will help and assist with all that. And if you don't and you want to shoot your own podcast, you can do that too and just use our syndication network. The second box moving to the right, I mentioned the navigation bar in the premium positions on the San Diego Union-Tribune.com. And then the third box on the right, and I think this is really important, it's leveraging our Google authority and rank and our domain authority. And these podcasts have a unique domain just for your advertiser. And so they're instantly indexing in Google search right away. So that's a phenomenal aspect of this platform. We're going to promote it in our eNewspaper, as I shared, the same product that I was just sharing. We're going to also promote it in our email and newsletter campaign to drive traffic to the podcast. And then additionally, we're also promoting in our legacy print edition with 8 ads per month, every Sunday and Tuesday. If you can see the ad on the left, so to speak, promoting every podcast. And in the print edition, we have QR codes that can take the consumer right from their mobile device into the podcast. And then, of course, we syndicate the podcasts to all the most popular platforms, from Apple to Spotify to Amazon to Google. And we also have a partnership with iHeart and Spreaker that helps syndicate all of the MP3s on all of the major podcast listening platforms. So a phenomenal platform. If you have an advertiser that would like to learn more about podcasting, we're happy to be, happy to assist, and happy to talk more. With that, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time. We're going to turn it over to Ms. Katie Musa, our Director of Digital Sales for Stats Digital. And I give it to Katie.
All right, thank you, Howie, and hi, everybody. I'm going to take some time to highlight the digital opportunities we have available on the San Diego Union-Tribune.com website, as well as the ways we can extend your clients' reach through our full service digital agency services with Stats Digital. So starting out with the San Diego Union-Tribune.com, here's an overview of the available digital opportunities we have across our site. I'll show examples of each of these opportunities, but we have options that are great for brand awareness and also options that are great for building credibility for a brand and also helping drive conversions or leads. So the best part about the San Diego Union-Tribune website is the huge reach that we have available. We are the largest local website in San Diego, and we currently reach more than 3.8 million unique visitors per month, with over 7 million monthly page views. So definitely a large audience that we have across our website. So if you can go to the next slide, Basma. One of the main ways we can get in front of this large San Diego audience is through our cross-device light ads on our site. We offer all standard IAB ad sizes across our website, and we can do those on desktop, tablet, and mobile. And we offer multiple targeting options to ensure that your ads get in front of the right audience. So we can do geo-targeting down to the specific zip code level, as well as section and content targeting. We also, for the last year, have been collecting first-party data on our website. So we're now able to target an audience with both first and third-party data across our site. So, for example, if you want to reach an avid sports reader on our site, you used to just be able to target them by running ads in the sports section. But now what we can do is we've built a first-party audience of people that we know are constantly reading sports content around our site, and we can target them wherever they go on our site, instead of just targeting them in the sports section. So this typically, this gives you more available ways to reach that audience, and it typically results in a higher engagement rate because we're getting a higher frequency to that audience wherever they go. And like I said, we can target them on our site, and then we can even take that first party data audience and we could target them off of our site with Stats Digital as well. And one other point that I want to mention is that we can run any display or rich media through a direct buy, but also programmatically. So if you're an agency that has access to a DSP, we can set up a programmatic guaranteed, programmatic preferred, or private auction deals for your clients to access that specific inventory across our website. So in addition to these standard display ads, we also have rich media options on our site. I like to break these into two different categories here. So first, we offer takeovers, which can be on the homepage or on a particular section like news, sports, entertainment, or even on our San Diego Union-Tribune in Espanol site. These are 100% share of voice takeovers for 24 hours. So you own all rich media ad units and all the standard display ad units across the site for one day. So you can run these for a single day, you could run them for a weekend, or you can even run them for the full week to get a maximum impact to our online readers. In addition to the takeovers, we also offer high impact lighthouse ads. So that's on the bottom right here. This is the top performing ad unit on our site, and it has the highest click-through rate. These ads appear at the top of the page across all devices, and they take up the whole width of the screen. So what I like most about these ads is that they can be audience targeted and they can run for any amount of time. So versus the takeovers, which are just going to be like a one-day high impact placement, you can run the lighthouse ads for a month, a week, or whatever time period you prefer. So I like to recommend running lighthouse ads when you want a high impact presence to a targeted audience throughout the whole month. And then you can use the homepage or section takeovers for holidays or big promotions where you need a big splash over a few days. So I think it's always helpful to see these ad units live. So we're going to hope that this works. But I want to show you first what this example of a takeover with a video scroll looks like. So let's see if this pops up here. All right, this is my favorite ad unit that we have on the site because you can see how high impact it is. This is a section takeover, but we have this also includes a video scroll. So when somebody goes to the section or to the homepage, you can see they get this full screen video ad unit that appears across the whole page, and they need to scroll down in order to see the content on that page or section. So the nice thing, this video scroll appears like this on desktop, but it'll also appear on tablet and mobile as well. So on mobile, you'll still get the same full screen video experience. I think that this is a great ad unit, especially if you have an advertiser that is doing a lot of video advertising or any type of TV or CTV ads. This is another great placement. I mean, imagine having a full screen video on the homepage of the San Diego Union-Tribune.com website. So this is an example of a takeover. And then I also want to show an example of what the lighthouse ad looks like. This is an example of a lighthouse, so you can see it takes up the full width of the page. It appears across all devices as well, so it'll change formats depending on if it's desktop, tablet, or mobile. And the nice thing about this is it can be a static ad, but as you can see here, it can also include video in it as well. We can include up to a 30-second video in here. And because these can include video and be a little bit more interactive, like I mentioned, they're typically the highest performing ad unit on our site. All right, so if we want to go back, now that you saw those examples, we'll jump over to the next slide. I also want to show some of the video ad units we have available on our site, which can include in-stream video, out-stream video, and in-unit video. So for in-stream video, we have pre-roll videos that play before video content on our site. For outstream video, we offer in-read video placements within articles. So as a reader is scrolling down and reading an article, a 15-second video spot appears in the paragraph breaks of that article. So that's a really great placement. A lot of people don't realize that we have. And then one thing to note, though, is that our pre-roll inventory is very popular and typically sells out right away, but we usually have in-read video inventory available. So if that's something of interest to you, you can reach out to anybody on our team and we can look at who you're looking to target and see how much video inventory we have available for those ad units. But the other option that we have, which we have the most available video inventory for, is through in-unit video. So this can be HTML5 video that plays in a standard ad unit. It could also be a social card video, or it can be an expandable video ad that expands when a user interacts with it, which is the example down there on the bottom right. That was a 300 by 600 ad unit that can expand to a larger ad when a user clicks on it or interacts. And then also right next to it, kind of hard to see, but that's an example of a video social card. So personally, I like the video social cards because they're the easiest to create and they typically have the highest engagement. So we can take a video social post that is already performing well and turn it into a display ad. So it will play the video within the display ad, and it can also include the social media engagement and call to action buttons for social within that ad as well. So I like those just because, again, you get the video experience and the social experience as well, and they typically get more engagement. So if you want to go to the next slide. So we just went over display rich media and video ad units that we have on our site. So now I want to talk about some of the other opportunities we offer, which are custom content, social media, and newsletters. So first, custom content is a great way to utilize our reputation and our audience to help build credibility for a brand or to help a brand be seen as a subject matter expert. So we have a team of writers and producers that can produce content for your client, or we can work with articles or content that you already have produced and edit them and then just put them on our website or put them in front of our audience to build that credibility. So this content can be online articles, it could be print articles, it can also be videos or custom podcasts like how we just discussed. And we can utilize our native assets that we have. So we can utilize social posts, social cards, newsletters, and native ads to then get this content in front of your target audience and drive more eyeballs to these articles wherever they live. And then here's just a few custom content examples that I want to highlight. So the first one, if we'll see if this, Bosma, if you can try to click on the standard article. This is the example that you just saw on the screenshots, but this is a standard sponsored article that we have on our site. These are usually 600 to 1,000 words, and they can include photos that are provided. And also if the client has a video that's provided, that can be included here as well. And then if you want to click on the other example. And then one other quick note too about the articles is that they can run on the San Diego Union-Tribune website. They can run on the LA Times website. We can also run them on San Diego Union-Tribune in Espanol, LA Times in Espanol, and then we can also run these articles across our UT Community Press online papers as well. So now showing you another example, sorry, Bosma. This is an example of an interactive article or a microsite that we did on the LA Times. So I think this is just important to show you like what is capable. Instead of just doing a standard article, we can also do this custom content that would be what we kind of consider a microsite. So as you can see here, this includes articles. It also includes videos, and it also includes podcasts all in one microsite within the LA Times website. So this is just to show you, you know, it doesn't have to be a standard article. We can create these videos, we can create these podcasts, we can put this all together. And then the best part of this campaign too is that we utilized all of our assets that we have to drive more traffic to this campaign. So we did social posts for each video and each podcast. We had native ads running. We had newsletter inclusions. We had some of these in print. So just utilizing all of our assets to get as many eyeballs as we can on this content that is for the client. All right, so if you want to go back to the presentation, if you want to go to the next slide. So now that we showed the custom content, a great way to promote this content is through social. So here's some examples of how we can utilize the Union-Tribune social assets. So first, we offer social handshakes. These are sponsored social posts that appear on Facebook and Instagram, news feeds, and stories. But the posts are from the UT social handle in partnership with the client. So it might be a little bit hard to see on the screen, but you can see on the top left that these posts are from the San Diego Union-Tribune Facebook page, but they're also in partnership with the client. So these posts can be targeted to our UT followers, and they can also be targeted to a target audience based on either their interests, their geography, their demographics, or any first-party data. Another social option that we have are the social cards. So I talked about these briefly when we discussed video options, but social cards can take any existing social post and turn it into standard display ads that can either run across our website or we can run them programmatically as well. So because these ads look more organic or more like native ads, they typically get more engagement and higher click-through rates. So that's one of the reasons we like to run them. And a great way to utilize both of these social options together is to run a social handshake from the Union-Tribune's Facebook page, and then to turn that post into a social card and run that on our site. So this works especially well when we're promoting custom content because the ad looks more organic and not like traditional advertising, and typically leads to more clicks to that custom content article. So if you want to go to the next slide. Newsletters are another great way to promote custom content or to get an important message or promotion in front of our active and engaged readers. So our newsletters are all opt-in, and we reach over 1 million subscribers across these multiple newsletters that we have in San Diego and LA. So there are advertising opportunities within each newsletter, which can include either 970 by 250 banner ads, which you can see in an example in blue. And then we also have some newsletters that can include a custom 100-word advertorial within the newsletter content. So that is that example on the right. So like how we mentioned our eNewspaper alert newsletter earlier, and that's one of our largest newsletters that we have in San Diego with 77,000 subscribers and a 50% open rate. But we also have other popular newsletters that cover different topics like arts and culture, sports, and our in Espanol coverage. So this is just an example so you can see some of the newsletters we have available, but we actually have more than are even listed here. So if this is something of interest, reach out to us afterwards and we can provide you the full list of newsletters and subscribers that we reach. So newsletters are effective because they offer advertising within our content, but if an advertiser wants 100% share of voice, then we also have dedicated email blasts. So this is an email message from an advertiser to a target audience. So we have UT subscriber lists, but we also have targeted email lists where we can reach a national database of emails that can be targeted by over 500 different categories like geography, demographics, and interests. And I like to mention email blasts because we work with a lot of agencies on targeted emails in San Diego and also outside of San Diego because they're a great way to drive new traffic to a client's website. Right, and if you want to go to the next slide. So now that we've talked over some of the San Diego Union-Tribune opportunities, we also want to highlight how to extend your reach outside of just our Union-Tribune platforms. So we can take the same audience that you are targeting on our website and follow them wherever they go online with Stats Digital. Stats Digital is a full-service digital agency, and we work with a lot of agencies to extend their digital capabilities through programmatic, search, social, email, and multiple options. So we can either work as a digital partner with your agency, or we can white label our services and act as part of your digital team. So here's some benefits listed here of, what are some of the benefits of working with Stats. So first, we have a full research department that you can access. We can pull research through Scarborough, Nielsen, ComScore, and multiple options to find who your client's audience is, where they go in the virtual and real world, and how to know if you're reaching them effectively through different platforms. We also have access to premium inventory through all major DSPs and exchanges, including the trade desk. So on the OTT and CTV side, we also buy through direct deals with premium networks and publishers instead of going through the open exchange. So we do this because it leads to completion rates above 95%, and it also leads to less ad fraud. So again, one main thing I want to highlight there, though, is that mostly what we're doing on the programmatic side is through the trade desk, but we do have access to other platforms as well. So we have access, to Facebook and to Google and to Amazon and to some of those other networks as well. But primarily we're utilizing the trade desk. And one of the reasons that we do that is because the trade desk offers us full-scale audience targeting that we can utilize across all programmatic platforms. So by going through the trade desk, we have access to over 100,000 targetable data sets. And we can utilize either your first party data, so data from your website or data from your customers to set up retargeting or lookalike audiences. And then we can also use location-based data, to get in front of people that we know attended events or went to particular locations. We can utilize all of that together to make sure that your message is in front of the right audience. And we also utilize omni-channel execution and Unified ID 2.0 to target audiences across all devices and platforms. So we can do all of this targeting across display, video, OTT, CTV, streaming audio, and social media. On the reporting side, our team utilizes multiple tracking tools, including Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, and we set up all of our own, conversion pixels and retargeting pixels so that we can track online and in-store attribution. We also create custom dashboards to track all conversions across all of the different channels. And when we work with agencies, we can white label our dashboards to have your agency name and logo on them so that it can look like it's from your agency, and they don't even know that Stats Digital might be involved. And the final benefit of working with Stats is that we are a one-stop shop. So we know that there's a lot of digital agencies that can do some of the same things that we can do here, but our differentiator is that we have access to media. So we can use the media we own in San Diego and LA to bring more value to a client's campaign and to hopefully increase their return on ad spend. So especially as an agency, if you partner with us, there's normally, more value that we can add in that campaign. So we can look at the audience that you're targeting programmatically, target them across our sites as well, or utilize some of the assets that Howie mentioned that are exclusive assets to us. And then again, those would become exclusive assets to your agency that they can't get anywhere else. So ultimately, doing all of that together will provide more value to your client and also to you as an agency. So if you want to go to the next slide, Basma, here is an overview of all of the digital media services we offer through the San Diego Union-Tribune and Stats. So we talked through some of these, but just know that all of these are available. So if we didn't cover a service in this webinar and you want more information on any of these, then please reach out and let us know, and we'd be happy to provide more information and discuss these different options here. But one service that I do want to touch on briefly is our web to mail product within here. So this is a newer product, but the one that we have seen a lot of success with so far. So if you can go to the next slide. Web to mail is similar to retargeting, but we are retargeting a website visitor with a postcard to their home instead of retargeting them with digital ads. So if a new website visitor comes to your site and does not make a conversion, we can target them with a postcard to their home address. So this postcard can have a special offer on it to try to get customers back to the site, or it can also have a QR code that can lead them directly to a specific landing page. But ultimately, the goal is to get people that went to your site originally online and didn't make a conversion to send them something to their homes to get them to come back to the site and ultimately make that conversion. So our team sets up the tracking to see how many people return to the site after receiving the postcard and how many also make a conversion. And our team handles everything on this to keep it CCPA and privacy compliant. So we handle all data collection, printing, mailing, and tracking for this service. The best part about this product is that it is totally customizable. So we have no minimums, and you can set daily, weekly, and monthly budgets. And you can also include any mailing exclusion lists to make sure that we are not, your client's not paying to send a postcard to somebody that might already be a customer in their database. So again, this is a newer product that we have, one we've seen a lot of success with. If you want to look at pricing or more options on this, please reach out and let us know. You can go to the next slide. So I know we've talked about a lot of advertising options so far, but before I turn it over to our next speaker, I want to highlight a few case studies to show how we can be a partner to your clients and also to your agency. So the first case study I want to show is an example of how we put together a test for a client and ultimately ended up creating a new digital product from that test. So I know we went over a lot of digital products already, but just know that we're also willing to brainstorm with your agency if there is something that your client is looking for that maybe is not a current offering that we have. We're willing to put together tests and try different things to see if we can find something that would ultimately be successful for that client. So here's an example of a time that we did that. So we worked with a large regional retailer that was relying heavily on their preprints and coupons to get people in store for coupon redemptions. So we had talked to them about doing digital options, but they said they had tried digital in the past and it was not an effective way to promote their coupons. So we asked them to test a few digital products with us to see if we could find a successful way to drive in-store coupon redemptions through digital. So unfortunately, the first test we did was not successful, but we didn't give up and we continued to test different new options until we could ultimately find one that produced results for them. And luckily, we did end up finding a solution that worked. So that solution was turning their preprints into digital inserts in our e-newspaper and running those inserts for 1 week instead of 1 day like we would traditionally do in print. So we also promoted the digital inserts through social, email, and newsletters to get a higher reach. And we ran this test that you see on here for 2 weeks with 2 different digital inserts, and the client was really happy with the results. So as you can see from this reporting, we served over 3.8 million impressions in those 2 weeks. And the client tracked in-store coupon redemptions for this campaign. And they told us that the campaign resulted in 1,900 purchases, $73,000 from in-store sales, and ultimately a 434% return on ad spend for this campaign. So this test ended up being so successful that the client has continued to run it each month. And as you probably saw when Howie was talking, this is now a package that we offer to other advertisers as well, and they're seeing a lot of success with it. So the reason we wanted to highlight this is to just show you that this offering actually didn't exist a year ago. So this was something that we came up with by testing ideas with a client. So a client came to us with a problem, and we tested multiple different options until we could ultimately find something that was successful for them. So we're happy, if you have a client that's looking to do something similar, we're happy to put together tests. Sometimes, and some of these, just so you know, the client paid for some of these tests, some of them we did as added value, but ultimately the goal was to find something that worked for the client. So we hope we can do the same for other clients as well. And then one more case study that I want to highlight is how Stats can work with your agency, to find, to also white label our services. So this case study shows how we partnered with a creative and PR agency to help them offer digital services to their client, which this client was a multi-location dental implant practice. So our stats team work with the agency and we white labeled our services. So when we meet with the client, we present ourselves as part of the agency's campaign management team and not as Stats Digital. So the first time we met with the client and agency, we discovered that the client had primarily been doing print, radio, and TV advertising to reach their client. So we got back together with the team and we provided them research to show that they could reach a larger portion of their target audience through digital channels like display, streaming audio, video, YouTube, and social media. We also set up all conversion tracking online for the campaign and created a white label dashboard for the client that had the agency's name on it. So the main goal of this campaign was to deliver a CPA under $500 through digital. We've been running the campaign for over a year and we've always met that mark and we've continually improved our CPA. So here's a summary at the top from the white label dashboard to show how the last month has performed. We served over 8 million impressions, which generated 287 leads, which are form fills and phone calls. And ultimately we had a $210 CPA for the client. So the agency is super happy with the results from this campaign as well as the client. And because the agency is, been super happy with this campaign, we've started to white label our services for their other clients as well. So this is just one example of how we can partner with agencies if you don't offer some of the digital services that we discussed in the webinar today. So I know I went over a lot of information, but hopefully you now have a better understanding of the options that are available digitally through the San Diego Union-Tribune.com and SAS Digital. If you have any questions, please reach out to us after the webinar and we'd be happy to discuss any of these in more detail. But right now I want to turn it over to our next speaker, Fiona Leung, our Director of Events and Strategic Partnerships, who's going to walk us through some of our upcoming event opportunities with the San Diego Union-Tribune. So Fiona.
Thanks so much, Katie. Lots of really great information, and I'm happy to talk all things events right now. Next slide, please. So here's our slate of events that we do at the San Diego Union-Tribune. We do quite a few signature events throughout the year. We kick off the year with the countywide spelling bee, which we've hosted for 53 years so far. And we work with the County of Education on this, where we work with hundreds of 6th, 7th, 8th graders, and then we send the local spelling bee champion to the National Spelling Bee Maryland in May. So really great educational event where we work with all the schools in the County of Education. And then in July, we have San Diego's Best, which is an evening that we celebrate the businesses that are part of the San Diego Union-Tribune's Readers Poll, which is the longest running of its kind in the county. And that's such a fun event where companies are celebrated and just a really great evening to be a part of. And then we have Festival of Books. This is our largest event that we do. We get about 20,000 people, and it's a hybrid event with an in-person component and also live streams and pre-recorded sessions. I'm going to go into more detail in that in a little bit. Same with Festival of Journalism. We host this at San Diego State University, and this is a collaboration between all the major media outlets and organizations in town. Also a great one, which I will also go into detail on in a little bit. And then Top Workplaces, and this is where we celebrate companies that are voted the best places to work in San Diego by their employees. So quite an important event that we do. And then we have a year-round business connection webinars that we do where we work with different businesses that are experts in their fields, and we connect them to the community through webinars. So tons of different really great topics that are highlighted. And then next slide, you'll see also at the Los Angeles Times, we also do quite a few events throughout the year. So some of the notables are Festival of Books, and that's a huge one that is done on the USC campus. And then a lot of entertainment, food, lifestyle events throughout the country. So lots of great events over at Los Angeles Times too. And then I believe the next slide, yes, Festival of Books, I wanted to go into a little bit more detail about this. So it's August 19th, and it's hosted at the University of San Diego, and truly is a celebration of literacy. We get about 15 to 20,000 people, and like I mentioned, it's a hybrid event. So there's that in-person component, but we also do a lot of pre-recorded sessions and live stream panels throughout the day. So just a way for us to expand our reach, not only to people that are attending in person, but also if they cannot be there or they want to share. And this content is available throughout the entire year until the next festival. It's also a great platform for a lot of diverse voices. And we have more than 50 panels. We invited over 70 national and local authors like Nicole Hannah-Jones, John Grisham, Viet-Thanh Nguyen, and sponsors really get a chance to connect with a great audience at the region's largest literacy event of the year. And the next slide, you'll be able to see the demographics of people that come to this festival. I think the pictures really showcase just the excitement and the people that attend. So you have very educated, civically engaged people who vote, donate, active community members, people that live, work, and play in San Diego, families with children. It's a bilingual audience, it's diverse, and half of these attendees are considered high-income earners. So just looking at these photos always put a smile on my face. And then the next slide, you will see just the marketing reach for this event. So we work really hard on putting together a really comprehensive marketing campaign that consists of print, digital, social newsletters, earned media, and then lots of community partnerships. So we have set over 7.5 million promotional media impressions, 500,000 media value, and then 500,000 in social media impressions. We send tons and tons of promotional emails out to a large opt-in subscriber list, and the open rate is almost 50%. And then we work closely with our communications team on press coverage and earned media such as KPBS, iHeartMedia, C-SPAN, and a lot more. And one of the wonderful things about this, another wonderful things about this event is that we work with more than 80 community partners, and that includes all the public libraries in the county, the local bookstores, various businesses, university, colleges, nonprofit organizations. We have a panel at Comic-Con this year, and then of course the sponsor support is really important too. And the next slide, you might recognize some of these people on this slide. These are some of the authors that we've had at Festival of Books in the past. Nicole Hannah-Jones, Raphael Gustin, Eva Chen, John Grisham, David Duchovny, Ziggy Marley, Sonia Mavasin, Viet-Thanh Nguyen, and this is just a small sample of the type of authors that come to San Diego to attend Festival of Books. And then the next slide, I want to talk about festival journalism, and that's another one that we're just so proud of. That's in October 14th, hosted on the San Diego State University campus, and it is a chance to get to know the people reporting on the biggest stories in San Diego. And it is a collaboration between all the media outlets and organizations in town. We get about 1,500 people. Again, it's a hybrid experience with in-person components, and we're also planning to live stream and record some of these sessions too, with keynote speakers, panels, tons of activities and workshops. And sponsors get the chance to support local journalism while promoting their brand to one of the most active community members in town. And then the next slide, you'll see the organizations that are involved, and this is just some of it. The list is much, much longer, but you'll see Cal Matters, KPBS, Voice of San Diego, UT en Espanol, the NBC7, Univision, Point Loma. So tons of really great organizations come together to put together this program and put together this event, and we're excited for it to happen again this year. And then just some photos to give you some imagery, to give you a peek into what last year's event looks like, the type of audience and the engagement. It truly is a very informational and wonderful event. And then the next slide. Okay, so sponsorship activations. So we have pre-made packages for all our events. And I always tell clients that they're just idea starters, because what we love to do is create custom activations. We work really closely with clients who really understand their budget, their goals, their mission, and we put together these ideas so that way, they stand out, and then they can really get, ROI for being a sponsor of the event. So here's two case studies that I want to talk about. With Indian Motorcycle, they want to market e-bikes to families and high-income earners. So Festival of Books is a really great one to get part of. What we're going to do is set up a course at Festival of Books where people can test drive the e-bikes, and then we're going to have displays throughout the event. And then for Belmont Park, they're family owned. They want to showcase, all the community work that they do. So what we did was form a partnership between Belmont Park and the San Diego County of Education. So then Belmont Park can sponsor a field trip to Festival of Books and the park for about 100 students in underserved communities. So we love, again, working with clients to really, come up with custom activations that are impactful and special and stands out. And then so I think this might be my last slide, and then I'm going to throw it back to Louise.
All right. Thank you very much, Fiona. We are out of time. I'm going to ask Paul, Howie, and Katie to join us back on the screen. You're welcome to reach out to any of us directly if you have any questions. I know my colleagues will be more than happy to meet with you in person or on a Zoom call. And there is their contact information on the screen. We'll also be sending you an email with the information as well as a link to the recording of today's presentation. We look forward to working with you, and thank you again for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.